I'm going to make a quick video around stocks to watch for Monday. I get a lot of questions on X about my list. I do have three different lists that I work off of. My larger watch list, which is part of my scans. It's a little big, about 500, 600 stocks each week. And that's the one that I flip through daily. And then from there, I make a secondary watch list, depending really on the market and how many setups we have, potential setups. That list is anywhere between 10, 15 names to 30, 40 names. And then, so that's what I call secondary list. And then from there, I do my primary list. And those are from the secondary, I pick the ones that I'm interested in establishing positions on the next day. So that would be Monday. So I think right now I have about 23 names, 25 names. I didn't count them exactly. So I'm going to go through them with you guys. And then later in the evening, I'll make my primary list from the secondary list. So I'll probably have anywhere between 4 to 6 names that I want to watch. Some of them will have stop limit orders already in, and some would be just really want to watch them to see how they open. So 4 to 6 names is normally what I have. Sometimes it go to 8 depending on how many setups. And that would be my primary. So a lot of people call that focus list, but I call it primary list. So primary, secondary, and my larger watch list. So what you guys are going to see right now is the secondary list, the byproduct of me flipping through my larger watch list and then picking those as potential setups. And then later in the evening, I'll put together my primary list. So you do your own primary if you think there's setups here that you like. So let's jump in and then have us go through that. Life is the first one on the list. A lot of these setups, it's rarely a random stock. So a lot of them are going to have a reason why they're here on the larger list to start with. So remember, there's about 9,000 stocks, 10,000 stocks between AMAX, NYSE, NASDAQ, and I think those are the three major ones, major exchanges. There's about 10,000 stocks on those exchanges, I would assume 9,000. My larger watch list is about 400 to 600. So every stock on there has a reason why it's there. It's either theme related. Right now, AIML, so I got a lot of AIML stuff on that list. High volume, ants list, some other stuff in MarketSurge. I'll go through those when we're reviewing the setups. And then obviously some earnings, power play, sale, earning growth into the future. So for example, Life, really nice earning growth. 2025, 2026. I believe it's setting up. You can play it as soon as tomorrow, taking out the high. You always see my triggers taking out the high of the previous day or a clear pivot that is defined on the chart. This doesn't have a clear pivot on the chart, but its trigger is the high of the previous day. I think this is pullback after attempting to break out here, and it's pulling back, testing the 21 EMA. Really, really quiet day on Friday. Potentially you can play this coming out. If you go to the weekly, I always look at the weekly. I have it on my other screen, but I don't want to bring it in and out, so we'll just flip through it here. Let me move this, put this up here, so it's out of the way. So you see how the stock attempted to break out and failing back. A lot of times, second mouth gets the cheese. So that's what we're trying to play here. Okay, so this is back to support, and then trying to see if we can play this going out. I'm doing this. There's a lot of it educational, not just picking stocks. I could have just posted these on X and say, here's my secondary list, but it's more of an educational as to why they're on the list. So it'll be maybe a little long to go through that 25 stocks. If you guys are interested in me doing this often with the secondary list, I can do that. Just leave comments. I'm not sure how folks are going to like it. I'm not sure that a lot of people are going to watch it. If not a lot of people are going to watch it, I'm probably not going to spend the time to do it because it takes time to do it. I don't have to do this for myself. So just leave a comment if you guys like to see me do this secondary list often. Probably not going to be able to do it every day, but 2 to 3 times a week. I think that gives you guys a good set of stocks that are set up, and then you can kind of wiggle it down to your primary list. Like I said, 4 to 6, 8 stocks. All right, let's move on to the next name, Spot. Spot is on the list. I have this drawn already. You guys are gonna see me draw lines at the lows of days a lot. That's in strong uptrend in markets. Short-term support matters, and if things are setting up on that level, I pay attention to it. This is an example of that spot that's in the 500 level. Another thing that you guys are going to see a lot of, most 99% of these stocks are not going to be extended. They're going to be inside the base or very close to the top of their base, or testing the 10-week MA for the first time, or the 50 for the first time after breaking out of their base. So I'm going to repeat that. They're either in the base, close to the top of the base, testing the 10-week MA or the 50-week MA or the 50-day MA for the first time after breaking out. That's the only way I trade. My setups come from those 3. Okay, the stock is extended. So let's do Roblox as an example of a stock that's extended. Roblox, you're not going to see Roblox on the list. Okay, never, ever. It's going to be on the secondary or the primary. Never. If it's not on the secondary, it's not going to be on the primary. It is on the larger watch list because I'm watching it. I want to get an entry on it, but this will have to come back and test the 10-week 50-day MA or the 10-week MA for me to get interested. That'd be the first test. Roblox buy was down here or down here. That's it. I missed this. I'm not interested in this anymore. This will not be on my list. Okay, so I wanted to just clarify these, and we'll go from there. All right, maybe I'll make a short video around that, reference people to it, because I don't want to repeat this every time I do my secondary list, because I think it makes sense, because that applies to all of my future secondary list videos. All right, so let's go back to Spot. Let's go back to Spot. So this in 700, you can play this as soon as tomorrow. So would this be on my primary list tomorrow? I don't know. I haven't done that yet. Like I said, there's 25 names on the secondary, so I need to get it down to 4 to 6 names, and we'll see if Spot makes it compared to all of the other names that are on the list. But I like it. This potential head and shoulder, mini head and shoulder, possibly, right? Okay. But if you take this tomorrow, what's your risk? Let me do the calculation of your risk on the other screen. If you take it over the high of that bar, then your risk is 2.8%. That's where you stop. The stop down here is 2.8%. So I don't overthink it. If this is one of the best stocks on my watch list and I'm going to take it, my stop limit will be in. It will trigger when it goes above the high, and then my stop will be in automatically. And then if it doesn't work, it'll stop me out. Done. No overthinking, right? Spot, obviously one of the leaders. If you go to the weekly, it is testing the 10-week MA for the first time. after break-in from a double base bottom. Double bottom base. All right, let us move a little bit faster here. Net on the list. Strong move from here. Lots of volume on the way up. Okay. There is volume on the way down here and here. These two wide range bars. Okay. These are distribution bars. Why they're distribution bars? Because if I highlight, that's not working. 1 second. Oh, hold on. Track price. Okay. So you see closing range in 25%. Anything less than 40, 30%, 35%, 40% normally, that will be distribution, right? So if we're looking at trading view, this bar here on my volume will be red, right? If you guys see my trading view volume indicator, custom volume indicator, these bars will be red. It's back to the base. Okay, so maybe too early to take this on because of this bar here. You're running the risk, gets way too close to that bar. So maybe this later in the week, maybe will work better. So probably probably won't make it to my primary list, but later in the week potentially is something that you could entertain. All right, Meta. I like Meta. I posted about it on X last week, right here. That was a low risk entry. So this is what I'm talking about. You see how it tested this level here multiple times, this 713. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is why I like this setup here. And then you take it above this high, and then your stop is really, really tight near the danger point, right? I made a video about that. You guys can watch that. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of education in these videos. And then now it's back to that same level. Took out that level and the stops, short-term trader stops, and it closed in what? In 51% of the range of that bar. Low volume. Look at this, right? So this, I love that. Okay, so if you take it above this high, okay, then what is your stop? Let me calculate that on the other screen. Your stop above the high to the low of that day is 2.4%. This is how you back into low risk entries. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. This is how you back into low risk entries. All right. I like Meta. I like it a lot. Probably be on the primary list. All right, I'm gonna move that up the list. Toast. All right, take a look at Toast. I think Toast is finally ready. Let's take a look at the weekly first, because the weekly looks beautiful on Toast. Okay. First breakout attempt failed. Looks calm. Okay, 3-week tight area. 3 weeks means accumulation. There's no distribution here, so looks really a nice flat base after a breakout. Massive growth numbers on Toast. Sales, earnings, so that's nice. Good RS rating, so that's good. So I like it a lot. I think traders are really frustrated with this stock, so probably now it will work. Down, up, and now it's holding in the middle of the range. So if it stays here, I mean, if it goes inside tomorrow, that would be fantastic. But you can play it coming up, taking this. What would be your stop? Let me do that calculation over on the other screen. You're talking about 3.5% or 4%. If you want to put it below the low of this low, let me clear it out here. If you're gonna put it below the low of this low, that's 4%. Below the low of this day, that's 3.5%. Okay, it's pretty nice. So nice low risk entry, and then I think this can go quite a ways after consolidating for a while. AS, been watching this one, good earning growth, going into 2020, ended, by 25, 26. It's pretty tight. So that's why it's on my list. It went up 25% or 20% in less than 4 weeks. So according to IBD and O'Neill, you hold it for 8 weeks. It's doing nothing but consolidating, and it's also holding in the top range, right? Your stop is going to be below here, so that'll be a tight stop, right? Up, down, up, down, up, and now middle range. So change in character. It's not, buyers are stepping in on this cycle down, low volume, right? Makes sense. Makes sense why this stuff makes it to my secondary watch list. Low risk entries, and there's a reason I like the setup from all of what we're saying here, and then you just hone in on 4 to 6 that you want to position into, and then you go from there. All right, let us move to CIEN. I like CIEN from the build out phase of AI/ML. If you haven't watched my video that I made yesterday, please do. Network infrastructure, cables, and all that stuff. You're going to need all of that for the new data centers that are being built out for AI/ML. That's, I believe, where the growth is coming from. Estimates being revised up, and I think they're going to continue to be revised up. Pretty deep drop here, but you got cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. Is this done? Right? I think so. Could it go back up here and give you cycle 4? Yeah. And this is where you pyramid up in these stocks. When the setup is still low in the base, I'm looking to start smaller position and then pyramid up later as it builds out in these areas up here, right? So build out up here, build out up here, build out up here, right? As it's forming the right side of the base. Why do I like it? I was liking this on Friday. I thought this might go, but the market was weak Friday. So what did it do? It just held the support. Okay. So if you take this above this high, and most of these setups so far, they don't have a pivot per se. They just have a trigger above the high of a previous candle. This was a pivot that potentially got you stopped out, right? So if you take that, let me do the math here quickly. Below the low, 2%. So below these 2 bars here, this bar, that's 2%. That's a low risk entry, okay? Let's do one more thing here. This high volume here, this high volume here, this high volume here, they're not distribution. They're supportive action, okay? So let's take a look at the candle or the bar. Let's go back here. What's the closing range? 72%. Supportive action. What's the closing range? 56% supporting action. 45% supporting action. Okay, so these red bars are not scary. They are somebody came and bought the stock up. Okay, and then it tested in the 50. So I like it. FLR also in the build out of some of the, it's mining, transportation, oil and gas services, construction, stuff like that. Doesn't have the big numbers that the others has. So I don't know. I like the setup is what I like. And it's liquid, so distant support. And then this one has a pivot. So if you look closely at this, this high here and Friday, it makes a good pivot to shoot at. And then your stop is down here, so pretty tight. Okay. Let's move on to BWXD. This is AI related. Nuclear power generation. So obviously in the heart of AI build out phase. Destin, big base. Let's go back to the weekly. Big cup base here, 38%, and then back to the top of the base. Okay, back to the top of the base. Maybe too early. This bar is distribution. This bar, 37%. Yeah, it's distribution. It's less than 40. Anything less than 40, I kind of consider as distribution. So you got two bars here. Somebody's selling. Maybe too early, but this is an inside day. Got a nice setup. I would love it to do, let me see here, to do a day here, and then do a nice pivot and go out. That'd be really nice. But the thing is, let me go back to one thing here. Even if you take it right here, okay, what is your loss? 3%. So if you take it here, you're wrong below here, okay? That's 3%. So that's kind of how I think about it. You gotta place your bets. You don't know if it's gonna work or not. As soon as you place your bet, it's done. You have no control over what the stock is going to do. All what you can control is your risk, and you flip your coin as much as you can. All right, BKNJ travel been pretty strong. A little bit above the base, not by much. The reason why I like this, let me draw that. I should draw that. Low of days. Support, 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 support. Right? So if you take it above this high, your stop is extremely close. And this is, I think I've said it before in some of my videos, there's a difference between a tight stop and choke in the trade. A tight stop and choke in the trade. This is a tight stop, not choke in the trade, because you have a thesis while you're taking the trade. Your thesis is this support is going to hold and this stock is going to do this. That's why you're taking the trade. You're not taking the trade because this is going to go down, right? You have a specific reason. Your reason is not the stock is going to go up. Why? Okay, well, because it broke out. It held the breakout. It's still close to the base, not too late to buy it. And then we have no selling, broke out on volume, and then it's holding short-term support. And my thesis is if this support breaks, it's potentially going to test what? The 50, and I'm going to be out. Okay, so that's a tight stop, but it's not choking the trade because I have a thesis. Okay, maybe somebody else might disagree with me that it is choking the trade, but that's fine. All right, this one made it to my larger watch list on this gap up on huge volume. Problem with this one is it pulled back a lot on big volume. I'm still debating this one. These are all, except this bar, they're all distribution. So I'm not sure about this. The only reason why I put this is because I like this here, these 2 days. Seems like the selling is done. Whoever was selling, seems like the selling is done. So you got a clear defined stop if you take it above this high, and it filled the gap, right? This gap here. So maybe it has a chance. Again, it's all about why you're taking it, what's your reasons, and then finding a low risk entry, which this is a low risk entry. So if you take it above this high and your stop is here, I can do the math for you. 1 second. Let me do that quick while you guys wait. 2.4%. Okay, move on. ARES. What I like about ARES is this massive, massive earning. I mean, 5 and 6, it never made that before. Okay, very low RS is on the absolute lower piece that I would ever trade. 79, 78 is the lowest. Broke the coupled handle and then pulled. I mean, look at this volume. I love it. Look at this volume. Very, 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 very low volume. Well below the average. And then just pulling back to the pivot support right here. So if you take it above this high, and you can place your stop here, give it a little bit more room. I think placing your stop here is way too tight. Placing it down here is okay. And then that would be, let me see, that would be 4%. Okay. And it'll also happen to be below that 21 EMA. Okay. All right. Card. Let's do card. Online shopping. IPO, new IPO. Again, pulling back to the cup with handle right here. And then just above, I'm not finding pivots. I'm not finding a lot of pivots on these setups that I have. They're all just one candle trigger versus clean pivots. I made some posts about clean pivots on X. Yeah, they're a lot easier for new traders to trade, but they don't happen as often, obviously. These are really hard. Like, I think a lot of you would find difficult times finding these setups and identifying these one bar, one candle trigger, right? Your stop below here, and then you can take it going up. Obviously, if this pulls back more and does this, it's even better. And maybe it builds out a pivot, couple candles here, and then you take it coming out. Okay. Hopefully this helped, guys. Really let me know in the comments, because if it doesn't, then this is wasting your time. Then I don't want to do them. All right. Rambus. Similar stuff. I like Rambus. I think Rambus probably be on the primary. AI, ML, semiconductor. Really nice numbers here, almost 3, 4, 2, sorry, but record earning per share on a year basis. I like it. Pulling back to the handle pivot right here, and your trigger, clean stop. This is a clean stop, right? This is really tight, and this one has this daily tests that I've talked about before. Okay, so someone is buying this. So 1, 2, 3, and then Friday, right? Is it gonna come and buy it? I don't know, but you can try it. And then I don't know. This is like really tight. I don't know what the stop is on this one. This one is really, really, really tight. Let me take a look at the math here quick. Above the high, below the low, that's 2%. Okay, I mean, you can't get any tighter than that with these setups. So, all right, Oclo. Let me, Oclo. Okay, enter. Oclo has a pivot right here. Let's put that on so that I have it on the chart. I like having them on my charts. Pulling back to the top of the base. Whoops, do that. And then reclaiming it. There's stops here, potentially, people trying it here, and then you can try it coming out. Obviously, if it puts another day, Monday, like here, whoops, here, and then goes out later in the week, that would be even better. So a lot of these names on my secondary makes it to the next day secondary, and maybe 2-3 days before they make it to the primary, stuff like that. You got the idea. I posted on FN, on X, when it was doing that, and now it pulled back and bounced. Okay, so you can see how it's going to behave up here. But anyway, I'm watching this one. I like it. Also in the AIML, build out phase, cables, receivers, switches, all that stuff. We need all that for data centers. Ali. I don't know, pulling back to the base, testing the 21 EMA. You're wrong below this. You can take it, taking out the high here, stop down here. Had nothing to do with AI. I don't know, probably not going to be interested in it. I want to focus on some of the tech, some of the AI. Okay. Web, locomotive, freight. Oh, I think just their earning growth grabbed my attention, pulling back the top of the base. Maybe a stretch on this one. Probably won't make it. But yeah. All right, let's move on. MTSI, semiconductor, close the gap. And then if this is going to bounce, it's going to bounce now. If you put, this is what I like about this one, testing this level again on Friday. And then 1 day pivot above this high, very defined stop on your 21 EMA. That's kind of why this made it to my list. We'll see if it made it to the primary. But it has the sales, so let's go to the weekly. Massive sales growth, earning double digit, revised up estimates. So $4 next year, just double previous years. It traded, yeah. So, okay. All right, let's move on. We're almost done. AAOI, sorry, AAOI. I like this one, a little bit more clean pivot with 3 days. So this is a nice pivot, breakout, pull back, broke out here, pull back inside, second mouth gets the cheese, maybe. This is build out of data centers, cables, fibers, data centers. See that? Massive. Like I don't like last time this stock made $1 was 2018, and it was $50, right? It's $30, and it's gonna make $1 next year. So, all right. CEG, I posted about CEG, and poked his head. If it opens inside and then pulls out, you can probably buy that. That's a clean pivot. I think I posted about it in X as a clean pivot. So you guys notice the difference between all the other ones. 1 day trigger, right? They're set up for 1 day trigger. And this is set up with a pivot, right? Set up with a nice clean pivot. I mean, AO is an example. And you got CEG is another example. And then last, CDTX, biotech, power play. Don't know why this is green. I don't like the green. So let's take that out and put the gray. But this is a 3 day pivot. What in the world? Delete. Black. Let's go. All right. And that's a 3 day pivot on a power play. Biotech losing money. Okay. I think this was clinical trial results or something like that. So the street likes it. Weekly looks good. So clearing all of that and holding. It only pulled back from the high. Let me see here. Do the math here on other screen. From the high to this piece, it pulled back 21%. So 21% is the max on a high tide flag. So potentially, but this is speculative, risky stuff, but it's a high tide flag. This is the last one. We're done. So my primary list would be from this list tomorrow. And it will probably be anywhere between 4 to 6 names on it. And that would be my morning. And I'll be done in the first few minutes of the day. Stops will be in, stop limits will be in, and that's it. You've got nothing else to do after that. So all of my work is done before the market opens. That's how I do it. That's how I manage it alongside my job. So hopefully that helps some of you on how I do it, what the process is, and stuff like that. And I'll do more of this secondary watch list reviews if you guys are interested in it. So let me know in the comments below. Thank you. Bye.